Alright, today it's just a demonstration video of the machine sheave we're working on for the Wolverine. As of today it's not even available, but I'm sure this video, I'm not going to change it for the future. But anyway, just a demonstration of what the stock one does and what we're working on. So one of the ways that I determine if the stock can be improved upon or what we're doing is to simply take the stock sheave and then mark it with a marker. Now this one, as you can see, he's got a lot of marking on it from me doing it already, so I'm going to try to put a new mark on it. Basically you just put a big mark on it. So this light in here is terrible. And then we're going to go down near the center and put some magic marker or marker on it as well. Like I said, this fluorescent light's tough. But this way we can see how much belt travel that the stock one has, and then do the same thing on the one we're machining to see if we can accomplish anything. So I'm going to install the stock one back on here and run it, and then I'll show you how we do it real quick, and then I'll come back. Alright, we got this thing running, and you can tell mine's a little louder because of the tip I was playing with. I'm going to let it idle. Normally you don't run it without this bearing support on, but because of this, actually what it's doing happens, it won't stop. It's all just, test purposes and save time. So I let it run at idle for that belt to wear off that stuff, and now I'm going to speed it up and run it up to the top. Alright, that's the stock one. I'm going to try to move the camera in here, and I want you to, like I said, you ain't going to be able to see. I just don't know how we're going to get in there close enough, but another thing we want to tell the difference is, and let's see if we can get it up in there close enough for you to, I just don't know if the camera's going to be able to do that, but basically in here, right on top, but around the sheave, we see how far, like when we're doing our machining, how much we can bring the belt down in the primary and raise it up in the secondary. And this one right here, right now, stock belt, I mean, it's just flat, even. And I mean, I can feel just a shade of the belt over the top of it at the very back. It's basically even. So we're going to take this thing off, see where our marking is. Okay, I just pulled it off, and as you can see, Yamaha has done pretty good job. You see how that belt wore off almost all of the black I put on there. That's, if I had to measure that, it's less than 1/8 of an inch, but it's it's not much. And then down here at the center, again, I'm not measuring them, but I'd say that's probably 1/4 of an inch to the center. So that belt, the bottom of that belt, is running right here on that line at idle. Alright, so now let's take our machine sheave, and I'm going to mark it actually before we even get started. Where is it? It's hard to see, but there's a black mark right there. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and mark this one up too, just basically the same way. I'm going to put extra at the top here and mark this one up as well. Alright, so this is going to be a demonstration of how much belt movement we have with our sheave, and it's still stock. It's actually the same belt on a Wolverine as it is a Viking. Same sheaves actually, same part numbers, everything. I'm just going to crank it up. Alright, same thing. I'm going to let it idle a second and rub that off at the bottom. And then we'll rivet up. you just can't see in there, and I suppose we could take a picture instead, but let's see. I don't know. I'm looking in the camera while I'm looking at you. But now we got maybe right up here is a. Let me get this over here. Let's see. I don't know if you can see again, and I apologize. But now the cogs of the belt, you know, like right here, if you can see the cogs of the belt, now the whole belt's sticking out of the secondary, which means we had to be lower in the primary to get it to go up in the secondary. All right, so let me zip it off real quick. Okay, here's our sheave after we run it. Let's see if we can get in. I'm looking at the camera, but you can tell where I marked it. There was the bottom of it, and let's see. Here we go. See, the black mark is gone all the way to the top, and then now here's our black mark at the center. And again, it's just the camera angle or view is so much different from the real thing, but it's about right there. And then so we got, you know, I'd say that's probably less, just about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so what that proves is a couple things. What that proves is when you're doing a machine sheave, you're trying to manipulate the belt. You want to get maximum belt travel possible. I always called it with the Rhino stuff max safe to max safe, and that means low as you can go in the primary without hitting something, and then high as you can go in the primary on top end without hitting something or causing problems. Of course, in the secondary, there's some rivets down there, and if you go too high in the second primary, then you can come down and hit rivets. Actually, it's the first time I checked that with a mirror and a flashlight, and the belt marks are away from the rivets. It's not by a whole lot. I mean, this is performance. We're trying to get the most out of it we can. So I'll say this in this video today: if you're the guy that wants to put a belt on and run it 5,000 miles, you know, you may wind up having trouble, because once that belt gets narrow, then sure, it's gonna come down. You know, as it gets age on it, it's gonna come down even lower. So right now, I'm satisfied with an 1/8 inch of space. Now, so I'm satisfied with that, and I'm satisfied with the top end. This proves this marking, and I don't care who you are, our competitors, whatever. You can't get any more belt travel than we're getting here. They might get as much, but you can't get more. I mean, what's more than all the way up? And if you get it any lower down than an 1/8 inch of the way, you're going to run into problems. And so that's what I'm saying is that over time with a worn out belt, you know, as it gets narrow, then yeah, it's going to come down. You know, shouldn't. And I guess on top end, if it gets narrow, then it can come on down and hit a rivet. Now that doesn't mean you're going to be changing belts, you know, every 500 miles or anything. I'm using a goofy example of, you know, you're just not going to get 5,000 miles out of a belt. I've always been happy with 1,000 miles on any belt, on any machine. Rhinos have been known to go 6, 8, 10,000. That doesn't mean you didn't need to change it. That's the way it is. But anyway, that's just an explanation of our machine sheave. We're using, this is the same as the Viking. It's also going to be used on the Viking now. This will be our newest way of doing it. For the Viking, you'll be using a stock belt and different weights. We're using different weights than we have been because this thing's getting hotter. It seems to be holding up a little better. And but anyway, I just wanted you guys to know about the belt travel and hopefully stop some arguments. And why there's so many arguments over Rhino sheaves, I couldn't tell you. I'm not involved in that mess anymore. But it stop arguments and the fact that this is the best you can hope for as far as belt movement. Nobody can get any more than this. If they do, then you're going to create problems. Got any questions about this? Give me a call.